Unfortunately, it's happened. War. Israel has struck the capital of Iran. Capital city is Tehran. Dozens of explosions were reported in Tehran, the capital city of Iran, last night. If you're paying attention, Israel is now actively engaged in conflict with now Iran, within its own borders in Gaza, in Syria, and in Lebanon. American troops were ordered out and warned, and I guess certain individuals and embassies and things were given notice, they were given notice, as I had said earlier. But that just kind of, I think that only solidifies that the President of the United States was aware of this and blessed off on it behind the scenes. What I heard was that behind the scenes he had told Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, or the leader of Israel, to not bomb Iran until after they were supposed to have talks. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I said it before and I'll say it again. We should have never backed out of the Iran deal. Obama's deal was not a bad deal. It was a good deal. I was part of the process on that deal. On the Moab, I was there. I worked for DIA. I worked for the Underground Facilities Analysis Center. My track record, you can look it up. The point is, we've been handling this situation wrong. I mean, if you look back at politics, geopolitics for the last, I don't know, anything since World War II, if I'm to be perfectly honest. We've just been not making the right decisions. We've been heading in the wrong way for a long time, and that's why we're in the situation we're in, because one man was allowed to sort of exploit all the cracks that existed in the system. So, yeah, it's messed up, but it's our system. So let's not let him take it. That's what he's trying to do. Let's be honest here. How much more do we have to say? There's a military parade happening on his birthday. They're rolling military, tanks and soldiers through the streets. At the same time, there are active, military units being deployed to engage against civilians that the police is more than capable of handling. And it's because another organization that is not law enforcement, has no actual jurisdiction. This is a civilian agency that handles civil issues. This is not criminal. Immigration is not a criminal process. Understand this. If it were criminal, the cops would be arresting them because that's their jurisdiction. Crimes. We have to start labeling what things are. People have to wake up, and I know that there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about certain religious aspects. The government of Israel is not representative of a religion or an entire group of people. That's just the way it is. The same way that our government and our president are not, that doesn't speak for every American. The president of the United States and those behaviors, that doesn't speak for every American. In fact, most of those behaviors, I would argue, they're anti-American. Unconstitutional, illegal dictatorships, oligarchy, whatever word you want to use. What more do people have to see? That there are soldiers being deployed in the streets. People are being taken out of their homes in the middle of the night. The other. In Germany, the other were the Jews, the communists, the whatever was bad at the time, because they're going to label whatever they want. They're doing the same thing. People are sitting here watching it happen. There's an excuse for those people back then because they didn't have access to the information and everything was much more restricted. Don't lie to yourselves. No one should be telling themselves that because of the state of how things are online or bots or AI, that any of this is unavoidable. We can talk to each other. We can communicate with each other. What happened to diplomacy? What happened to decency? I thought he was the president that was going to avoid war. I thought he was the president, I thought he was going to fix the economy. I thought he was going to get, resolve all these issues, build the wall. He didn't do that. He didn't do any of the things he wanted to do the first term. And a lot of people were okay with all of this bad stuff, people getting yoked up in the middle of the night and thrown in cages. They were okay with that as long as it wasn't them. And that's true. That's for a lot of people. We are in a dire situation. A lot of people are not recognizing what's going on. There are U.S. armed forces marching in the streets against U.S. civilians at the same time that they're preparing a military parade. Preparing a military parade. That's why it's a tongue twister. Preparing a military parade for the President of the United States. Wow. Does it get more obvious than that? Flag waving for a what are we doing here? I encourage every soldier who's wearing that uniform, who swore an oath, who raised their hand, to recognize that they took an oath to protect the Constitution and not to serve one man. I also want everybody out there that's listening and hearing this, that if you know a soldier or you know someone, like, give them a hug, give them a call. Like, we need to back each other in this. In the streets, if you're out there, be safe. You have the right to peaceably protest. Your rights are protected until you cause violence. The minute that you attack an officer or any one of these situations, you're inviting trouble. And you're also making it worse for everyone else. This is what they want. Don't give it to them. Show them that we're better than that. Because they're the ones that are hypocrites. They're the ones that are lying. They're the ones that twist scripture. They twist the law. They twist everything to their will. It's obvious at this point. Why do we keep believing liars? Liars lie. They're lying. They knew from the get. They knew what this was about. And they were okay with it as long as it wasn't them. It's time to hold ourselves accountable, each of us. And then we can hold each other accountable. Starts inside first. Think about if this is okay, if this is the country that you want. Does this make America great? Is this making America great? Do you feel great? I'm being genuinely honest here when I say this. What about any of this is great? I'll wait. Don't, Evie. Come on. No, it's not a good time.